Mr. Rush, by Roger Hargreaves. Mr. Rush was the fastest thing on two legs. He used to rush hither and thither and thither and hither and back again all the time. And of course he was always in such a rush that he never ever finished anything properly. One morning, he woke up with a jump. He'd only had time for 3 hours sleep because he'd been rushing for so long the day before. Oh dear, he cried, leaping out of bed. I'm late. And he rushed into his bathroom and washed not very well as he was in such a hurry. And cleaned one tooth and rushed downstairs 3 at a time. Mr. Rush had boiled an egg and toast and a cup of tea for breakfast. He boiled the egg for 5 seconds and tasted awful. He toasted the bread for 1 second, and so it wasn't brown. And as he couldn't bear to wait for the kettle to boil, he ate his tea with cold water. Ugh, what a horrible breakfast. And of course, he was such a rush. He was in such a rush. He only ate half of it. Rush. Silly fellow. After his half of breakfast, he rushed off again. Out of his door, leaving it open, down his garden path, out of his garden gate, leaving it open, and off down the lane. He passed Mr. Happy. Hello, cried Mr. Happy. Good morning, Mr. Rush. Where are you? Are you off to? Can't stop, cried Mr. Rush. I'm in much of a hurry. I could see that, thought Mr. Happy to himself as he watched Mr. Rush disappear into the distance. I wonder where he's going. Where Mr. Rush was nowhere. Fast as usual. Mr. Rush rushed around all morning and then rushed home and had a quick bite to eat a sandwich without bread. And then rushed off again and rushed all around all afternoon. That evening, he was reading a magazine. He never had time to read a book when he saw on an advertisement for holiday. Ooh, he said, I'd like that. Haven't had a holiday for ages, but then his face fell. I can't go on holiday, he thought, because I don't have any money. And then he thought again, and his face rose. I know, he thought, I'll get a job. And so, the following morning, he rushed off and got a job with a farmer milking cows. But of course he wasn't any good at that, because if there's only one thing a cow can't stand, it's being crushed, especially when it's being milked. So Mr. Rush rushed off and got himself another job, driving a bus. But of course he wasn't any good at that, because he was always in such a rush. He never stopped at any of the bus stops. And if there was only one thing people waiting at the bus stop don't like it's when the bus doesn't stop for them. So Mr. Rush rushed off and got himself another job as a waiter in the hotel. But of course, he wasn't any good at that, because no sooner had he served people a meal and they'd take one bite and he whisked the plate away from under their noses. And if there's one thing hungry people can't stand, it's having food whisked away from them. Poor Mr. Rush. No job, no money. Oh dear, he sang to himself, I'm never going to be able to go on holiday. He looked very glum and gloomy. But then an idea struck. An idea for a job for somebody Someone who crashes around all the time and until you'll jump for somebody. And one for someone who was the fastest finger on two legs. Do you know what? Do you know what that job was? Would you like to know what that job was? Postman delivering express letters. Mr. Rush was so good at it. He delivered twice as many letters in half the time any postman had ever done it before. Soon he had saved enough money for that holiday of his. And so, the very next week, there was Mr. Rush sitting on a beach in the hot sunshine under a palm tree on holiday. This is the life, he grinned and rushed off for a swim. His 15th that day. And then it was breakfast time. The narration was by me, Sonic the Hedgehog classic version. Don't forget to subscribe and GG. Bye bye.